Let's start with a diagram. This is the flow director process. Left is the flow director server and right the embedded SwiftMQ router called flow director. Web clients connect to the flow director server and use flow director apps. The embedded SwiftMQ router flow director may serve AMQP, GMS and MQTT connections and may have integrations to various other messaging systems. I can now just add SwiftMQ router nodes to build a federated router network. Each of these nodes can serve various types of connections and can have integrations with other messaging systems. These nodes are connected to the internal SwiftMQ router flow director and build a SwiftMQ router network. I can now deploy and run flows on each of the nodes and can monitor and manage the whole network via flow director. In this video I will show you how to implement a basic monitoring of a 4-node SwiftMQ router network. I have created a new app called Monitoring. Switch over to the Flow Orchestrator, and as you see here, there's one node for deployment, which is the embedded flow director router. I've installed 3 other SwiftMQ routers called Node 1, Node 2, Node 3. All these nodes have the same configuration to connect to the embedded flow director router on port 4100, which is open by default. Okay, now start them. Node 1, Node 2, and Node 3. Oops, sorry, wrong directory. Yeah, wrong directory. I need to change to the scripts directory and then start node 3. Okay, and now all 4 routers are available for deployment and activation of flows. I want to collect some metrics from these nodes and display it in dashboards. So I create a new flow called router probes. In the flow editor at the left side, choose a dashboard library which contains all dashboard components. Go to probes, then system, and we see all probes we can attach to the management tree of the router. First of all, we use a memory probe. Then we want to get the CPU usage. And we need the total message count of that router and the number of and type of connections. So these probes do everything internally. You just have to configure it, give it a name, CPU probe, return the CPU percentage of that router. A memory probe returns free max and used memory, and this entity sum probe, which connects to a CLI context of the management tree and sums a property you specify. So in that case, message count, we use the CLI context is $QManager/usage, and the property message count, and give it a field label message count. And the last is connection probe, which returns a number of connections differed by type. And that's all. and we can now use the set function, select the flow and all nodes, and just to activate. It is deployed and activated on all nodes, as you see here in the app log. Now head over to the dashboard orchestrator and create a new dashboard. Call it router states or router state. And we are in the dashboard editor, and we need more columns. We have to display 4 probes, so for each 10 columns makes 40. So the first one, second, third, and the last one. Okay, the first one should be the CPU. We choose this component and choose the stream CPU probe. Give it a title, CPU, and choose a field is usage, and a maximum is 100%. Next one. Is a donut. And we use the memory probe. Title, memory, unit is megabytes, and I can ignore one field of the 3. I ignore total and see free and usage and correlation to each other. Next one is a single probe component, a single value probe for the total message count. Choose the message count and get the messages. And then we use a probe with 4 values for the connections, because we have 4 types of connections. Give it a title, and then choose AMQP for the first, JMS, MQTT, and routing connections, and make the color blue. Okay, so, and that's our current state. And you can choose the data inflow for the dashboard editor to display the data. So as you see, all node 1 to 3 have the same message counts, only the flow director router has more. Give it a tag current, and then you can use the set function to activate the dashboard for all nodes. Okay, we now have the dashboards only in the editor, but we want it in the menu. So we go to authentication. Our user is admin with menu admin, which is here, and edit it. This is the current menu, and we need a new one. And there's a special menu which is dynamic called router network menu. And another menu below that, dashboard menu with tag selector, call it current, and it listens on tag current. Now you have to re-log in into the app to apply this menu. And then you see routers and the 4 nodes, and under current you see the data from that router. Here the flow director. It differs a bit because it has a warehouse simulation deployed. Thanks for watching.